Hitting Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel an image, chapter 3. Of gold, 60 cubits high. Hitting Nebuchadnezzar, cubits wide. Made an image and set of gold, 60 cubits high. Adura. And 6 cubits wide. Of Babylon. And set it up. He didn't summon the plain, the satraps. Adura. And the prefect of Babylon. Governor. He didn't summon the satraps, treasurers, judges, the prefects, magistrates, governors, and all advisors, treasurers, provincial judges, magistrates, and all to come the other to the dedication provincial of the officials he had set up to come to the dedication. So the satraps of the image he had set up, advisors, treasurers, so the satraps, magistrates, the prefects, governors, and all the other advisors, provincial, treasurer officials, judges, magistrates for the dedication, and all the other that provincial officials Nebuchadnezzar assembled for the dedication of the image. They stood before that king Nebuchadnezzar had set up loudly, and they stood before it. Nations, then people of every herald's language loudly proclaimed, "This is what you are commanded to do." And people, as soon as you hear language, the sound, this is what you are commanded to do. Zitter. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn and all kinds of music, zitter, you must fall down, harp, and worship the image of God. And all kinds of music, the king, you must fall down, has set up, and worship the image of God. Whoever the king does not fall down, Nebuchadnezzar, and worship has set up, will immediately, whoever be thrown, does not fall down a blazing furnace, and worship will immediately, therefore, as soon be as they heard the sound of the horn, a blazing furnace, the flute, zitter, therefore, lyre, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, all kinds of music, the flute, all the nations and people, lyre of every language, and all kinds of music, and worship the image of God. All the nations, the king and people of Nebuchadnezzar, every language had set up, fell down, and worship the image of God. At this time, the king, some Nebuchadnezzar, had set up forward and denounced the Jews. At this time, they said some astrologers, Nebuchadnezzar, came forward, made the king denounce the Jews. They said to King Nebuchadnezzar, has made the king live forever, that everyone who hears the majesty of the horn has issued a decree, that everyone who hears the sound, harp of the horn, and all kinds of music, must fall down, lyre, and worship the image of God, pipe, and all kinds of music must not fall down and worship the image of God, thrown into a blazing furnace, and that whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown into a blazing furnace over the affairs. But there are some Jews of the province of Babylon whom you have set over the affairs, and Meshach of the province of Babylon, who pay no attention, Meshach, Abednego, who pay no attention to you, worship the image of God your majesty has set up. They neither serve your God with rage, nor worship the image of God you have set up. Summon furious with rage, Meshach and Abednego, Nebuchadnezzar. So these men were brought before the king. Shadrach, Meshach, and Nebuchadnezzar and Abednego said to them. So these men were brought before the king. Shadrach, And Nebuchadnezzar and Abednego said to them, that you do not serve my gods, Shadrach, or worship the image and Abednego of gold I have set up, that you do not serve my gods or worship the image. When you hear the sound of gold I have set up, the flute, the zither, lyre, harp. Now when you hear the sound of the horn, all kinds of music, the flute, the zither, if you are ready to fall down and worship the image, pipe, I made all kinds of music. If you are ready to fall down and worship the image, immediately I made into a blazing furnace. But if you do not worship then what God you will be able to immediately from my hand into a blazing furnace. Shadrach, then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand. Replied to him, King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves. Replied to him in this matter, King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves. The God we serve before you in this matter to deliver us from it. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, your majesty hand, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it. He does not, and he will deliver us from your majesty hand. Majesty. But that even we will not serve your God, he does not, or worship the image we of God want you to have set up, your majesty, that we will not serve your God, furious, or worship the image of gold you have set up. Shadrach, Meshach, the Nebuchadnezzar was furious. Abednego, with Shadrach, Meshach, the blazing furnace. Abednego. And so these men were into the blazing furnace, turbans and other clothes. So these men and thrown into wearing their robes, trousers, turbans and other clothes. Nebuchadnezzar were bound and thrown into the blazing furnace. Was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, Nebuchadnezzar, and Abednego, and his attitude was furious. With Shadrach, he ordered the furnace, Meshach, heated, and Abednego 7 times, and his attitude toward them changed. And commanded the furnace, strongest soldiers, heated, in his 7 times to tie up than usual. Shadrach, and commanded some of the strongest soldiers, and in his army to tie up Shadrach. So these men wearing Meshach and Abednego, and throw them into the blazing furnace, were bound. So these men wearing robes, the blazing furnace, trousers, turbans, the king's and underclothes were bound and thrown into the furnace, so the blazing furnace, that the flames of the fire, the king's command was so urgent, and the furnace so high in Abednego, that the flames of the fire killed the soldiers firmly tied, who took up Shadrach into the blazing furnace. And Abednego, then king, and these 3 men firmly tied, leaped, fell into the blazing furnace in amazement and asked. Then king, his advisors, Nebuchadnezzar, there 3 men leaped to his feet that we tied in amazement and asked. And to the fire, his advisors, weren't there 3 men, certainly, you majesty, that we tie up and threw, he said, and to the fire? Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, you majesty. And he said, look, and the 4th I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed. And the 4th looks like a son of the God. Majesty. He said, look, they replied, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound, he said, and unharmed. Look, and the 4th see like 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed. And the 4th looks like a son of the God, the opening of the blazing furnace, and shouted. Nebuchadnezzar did approach the opening of the blazing furnace, and Abednego, and shouted, servants of the Most High God, Shadrach, come out, come here. And Abednego, so servants of the Most High God, Meshach, come out, and Abednego, come here, came out of the fire. So Shadrach, and the satraps, Meshach, the prefects, and Abednego, the governors, came out of the fire. Advisors, and the satraps crowded around him. The prefects, they saw the governor, the fire had not and roared advisors, nor was crowded around him. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, singed, nor was a hair were not scorched of their heads. And there was no smell of fire on them. Their robes were not scorched. Then Nebuchadnezzar, and there was no smell of fire on them. Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Nebuchadnezzar, Meshach said, and Abednego, praise be to the God who has sent his angel and rescued Meshach and Abednego. They trusted in him who has sent his angel and defied and rescued his servants, and were they trusted in him rather than serve and defy the king's command except their God, and were willing to give up their lives. Therefore, rather than serve or worship any god that except their God of any nation or language, therefore say anything against the God of Shadrach, that the people of any nation in or language be cut who say anything against the God of Shadrach, and the houses be turned into piles of Meshach, for no and Abednego be cut into pieces in this way, and the houses be turned into piles of rubble. Did the king for no other God can save in this way? And Abednego and the prophet did the king promote it? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon.